You know, that's a.
Well, and like William's situation, say Tracy decides to take this business when William does his thing, retires, whatever, it's definitely gonna affect Tracy's future. I mean, he's still a young man, he's got 20, 30 years to work.
It's not gonna affect Tracy.
It's not gonna affect Tracy.
He can take over the business continues, just like it is.
Right, okay, now let's sell that business. In 20 years, let's sell that business as what?
As the same as it is. You can do that.
So the business can operate till
It operates just the same.
it doesn't want to operate anymore. No one's gonna shut it down or say
The only
can't do
time
it.
there are changes is when somebody ceases to operate that business as an auto repair center.
Okay, now
Then there's a change.
and back to some of this, and I don't know what y'all got down or what you've done, but if we have a tornado, a storm, a fire, and it took you 6, 8 months, 10 months, or a year to rebuild and get back, is that gonna cease to be that business then, or what are you gonna do?
It, well, as Ron was saying, because he's a little bit more the expert on the text of the ordinance right now. If it took that long, one of the things is keeping all this local here with your city council. That's who you're going to go in and ask. Now, if you trust your city council, there's no problem at all. But if you're a little, I don't want to say apprehensive, but if you don't want to necessarily make sure that your business is in the hands of anybody else's discretion, you can look at it that way. Because the city council is not forced to do anything. So in that situation, worst case scenario is maybe they could deny you. But if this is Glen Rose, Texas, do you think that they would? Because I'd have to look at the ordinance, because if it takes you 6 months or 8 months to rebuild, and this is a little subjectivity in it, I don't think the city is going to prevent you from doing that, just from what I've seen of city staff and the elected officials here. Now, yeah, there is a little bit of a possibility of that, but we have to look at the ordinance and see exactly.
But see, it wouldn't change anything because, you know, right now, this is the overlay district. This has nothing to do with, we already have that ordinance in place. You know, if more than 51% of your business was destroyed, then you'd have to build it up to current code. And right now, current code, you couldn't build a metal building. You'd have to, it's already 60% rock. So, it's already there, you know. It's not anything different. This is just protecting the Bernard Street and its uniqueness and you know, that's what this is doing.
And that's really the only case where your existing business ever becomes new development again. It is the only time when you're really looking at that. And because your building wouldn't have to be built, and correct me if I'm wrong, your building wouldn't have to be built in 6 months. You would just have to apply for the building permit. So if that could all happen in 6 months, if you started the process, you should be good to go. You wouldn't have to have your building
It's not
constructed.
closed down. It's still in operation. It's just you're rebuilding. And it had abandoned it.
Yeah.
It's not going to change any businesses there in any way. If you stop operating, and someone takes over, it's not going to change. You can operate as long as you're in your family. If you sell it and they want to do something else, they can get a special permit. They can go special permit for certain things. It's just to see more or less like it is, so that it doesn't change a lot.
Maybe one thing we can consider is if it's an auto use, we could consider making it just an SUP within the zoning district. So in that situation, you won't ever have to worry about, am I not allowed? Yes, you have to come to the SUP, and there's a little risk. Maybe they won't give you the SUP if you get buffer from residential or something like that. But that is also one thing we consider is making an auto use an SUP. It already is. So so there would be, in the worst case scenario, torn down by a tornado, no building permit or any activity for more than 6 months, then you come in as a SUP and go before the city council and say, I want a special use permit for an auto repair garage. They look at it, and I can't think of the site right offhand, but let's say their home's next to it. They say, okay, you have to do, 10-foot landscaping buffer or something like that. And now you can film it. So, but there is that subjectivity of if you look at the landscaping buffer, maybe we'll be able to go in, or maybe they just not the SUP. So, but I think we're dealing with sort of far out situation. Now, probably that possibly could happen, but more than likely probably not. So that helped a little bit, answer it a little bit more. So, and what we're doing, like with all these comments, Erica, who I'm sorry I didn't introduce before, is also, I'm Daniel Harrison, I'm with Freeze and Nichols, and this is Erica Craycraft. She's also a planner with Freeze and Nichols. And what we're going to do is we're writing down everybody's notes, and then we'll go back to the P&Z and show them these are the issues we'll have, and we'll explain the auto uses, and we talk about non-conforming uses, these type of situations. And there's most of our committee, P&Z committee is here, so they're hearing it a lot right now. But we're going to go back to them and say, well, how do we want to address this? And then once again, then it comes back to the public for public hearings, so people can provide more comment once again. So, yes, ma'am.
When did they change it to where the buildings had to be a certain amount of brick? And when did,
That was
Last
about-
year.
That was about a year, almost 2 years.
Last year.
but did they not send notices to the business owners?
It's on the new construction. It doesn't affect anything on.
Yeah, I just wondered though, because we've never got notification of any.
Because it doesn't affect y'all, it only affects new construction, new businesses. So we wouldn't, every time that there's an ordinance change, we don't send it out to,
They change orders constantly all the time.
yeah, I mean, that's a,
Generally, you get a notice in the mail if they're changing your zoning district on the map. If they're changing what zone you're in, you'll get notice for that. But if it's a text amendment, or they're just changing text in the ordinance, you typically don't get a notice for